Hello, friends! Today is January 10th, 2023, and the launch day of Final Fantasy XIV's patch 6.3, Gods Revel, Lands Tremble. You all know why we're here. Paladin got reworked. Its rotation is super different than its previous Endwalker iteration, removing most of its dots, making Goring Blade a 1-minute single target GCD, changing Fight or Flight to affect all damage types, and giving us a slight headache regarding a looping rotation. Since I'm pretty dumb, I don't really want to think a whole lot. That's why we'll be showing you guys a rotation that begins looping at the 1-minute mark. Big credits to Nisha L and Haru Ni-chan, and all of us who stayed up during maintenance for the theory crafting on the different rotations. Between just pressing things on cooldown, adding Naked Holy Spirits, or dropping atonements, there's been a lot of discussion and theorizing as to which rotation is the best. At a 2.5 GCD, Fight or Flight will now catch 8 GCDs, which is very similar to Slow Gunbreaker. With this in mind, my goal is to have those 8 GCDs be the following: 2 buffed Holy Spirits, Goring Blade, Confiteor combo with Blades of Faith, Truth, and Valor, and Royal Authority. To accomplish this, we're going to need to set up our loop at the 1-minute Fight or Flight. Let's start with the opener. Begin by precasting a Holy Spirit at around 2 seconds before the pull. From there, we head into our melee combo with Fast Blade into Riot Blade. Tincture here if you're going to tincture in the opener, otherwise you could hold it for the 2-minute window should the fight allow for it. Finish your combo with Royal Authority, and then weave in Fight or Flight late into the GCD. Around 2/3 should suffice. Use your buffed Holy Spirit into a Requiescat and Circle of Scorn, Goring Blade into Intervene with Expiation, then Confiteor into Intervene, Blades of Faith, Truth, and Valor, then finish out your Flight or Fight window with Atonement, using all Atonement stacks here, then going into your Fast Blade, Riot Blade, and Royal Authority, while keeping Circle of Scorn and Expiation on cooldown, and pulling your gap closers for Fight or Flight. Use 3 Atonements, then your buffed Holy Spirit. You could use this Holy Spirit before the Atonements if you would like, however, I wanted to keep continuity between how this setup will execute, and therefore, I used the Holy Spirit after the 3 Atonements. Alright, we're now approaching our next Fight or Flight window. Here's what we'll set up with our reoccurring burst. Use your Fast Blade, your Riot Blade, and your Royal Authority. You're going to use all 3 of your stacks of Atonement, but please do not use your Holy Spirit. This is going to be reserved for the start of your, Flight or Fight or whatever it is. Thanks. Then you're going to use Fast Blade, Riot Blade, Fight or Flight, late into the weave, into buffed Holy Spirit. Your burst will then look like this: buffed Holy Spirit into Requiescat and Circle of Scorn, Goring Blade into Intervene and Expiation, Confiteor into Intervene, Blades of Faith, Truth, and Valor, Royal Authority, and then lastly, you'll finish out your 8th GCD in Fight or Flight with a buffed Holy Spirit. Now, you've got 3 Atonement stacks, so we'll use those. This is important for subsequent potion windows to maximize potency as well as long raid-wide buffs. Here is where we execute our permanent loop for the rest of the fight, assuming full uptime. Fast Blade, Riot Blade, Royal Authority, 1 Atonement, buffed Holy Spirit, Fast Blade, Riot Blade, Royal Authority, 3 Atonements, Fast Blade, Riot Blade, and then you guessed it, Fight or Flight with buffed Holy Spirit into Rec and Circle, Goring Blade into Intervene Expiation, Confetti into Intervene, Blades of Faith, Truth, and Valor, Royal Authority, and buffed Holy Spirit. Now sit back, relax, turn your brain off, and repeat this loop till the cows come home. To give an overview, we execute our opener, do not skip the Atonements between the pull and the 1-minute window to set up our loop, skip 2 Atonements every minute afterwards, and I recommend always using the 3 Atonements after Fight or Flight and skipping 2 Atonements on the next Royal Authority, due to the reason we mentioned earlier about potion and long raid buffs. Every Fight or Flight window after the opener should look like this: buffed Holy Spirit, Goring Blade, Confetti, Blade of Faith, Blade of Truth, Blade of Valor, Royal Authority, buffed Holy Spirit. I wanted to get this out as early as possible so y'all can have time to practice new Paladin before the Omega Protocol inevitably blows us all up. I hope this video helps you grasp 6.3's iteration of Paladin. I certainly enjoy it since it feels a lot like a cousin to Gunbreaker while maintaining its own identity, having a long recast button like Goring Blade, as well as your combo opening up something like a Burst Strike or a Gnashing Fang combo. That's kind of how the Atonements and the buffed Holy Spirit feel to me, so it was seamless for me to jump into that rotation. If you ever find yourself disengaging from the boss, you can replace your Atonements with Holy Spirits. That way you can keep your rotation in line while safely disengaging from the boss and not really displacing where you're supposed to be. If you do run a faster GCD, you should only have to skip 1 atonement every minute, and the rotation should still function identically. Oh yeah, one last thing. When you're level 90, you're not really going to be using your Requiescat window on Holy Spirits. You're using them on the Confiteor and Blade combo. Your AoE combo will generate a Divine Might stack, meaning that you could do a 3-part AoE combo when you're running dungeons, since you'll proc a Holy Circle off of your AoE, or a Holy Spirit if you have a really healthy ad. Thank you for watching. I'll be here next time. Will you?